Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Drafty Sports Pro Basketball 2021 Developer Dynasty. It's become our staple on Tuesday nights here. So I'd like to welcome you into the stream tonight as we take a look at some of the latest changes and enhancements to Drafty Sports Pro Basketball 2021. As always, I want to thank our subscribers to start, whether you're subscribing on your own or through the free Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime monthly subscription. We absolutely appreciate those of you who are doing that and supporting our efforts in the channel this way as we start to grow our Twitch presence. Thank you to our followers as well. We've got some new followers this week, BJ Fly and Shapes. So thank you to you guys for your new follows this week, and for anybody else who's listening tonight, if you're not following already, hit that follow button and make sure you have notifications enabled so that you know when we're going live. I know we've been talking about when first access will begin, and there's been a lot of questions about that. We're getting closer to an announcement on that. That announcement should be taking place fairly soon. In fact, next week on the stream, we'll probably have the announcement of when first access will take place. So we'll have that to look forward to next week. And this week we've got some great stuff to show off. So as always, make sure that we really enjoy you participating during the stream by talking in the chat box, whether it's making comments on what you're looking at, you have suggestions or questions for us. Absolutely feel free to use that chat box, and I will respond to try to respond to everything. And that's the better that we have the chat, the better the stream is, and the more informative. And it's a nice source of information for everybody who comes to watch the stream, and also gives us the feedback that we're looking for, which is really the main reason why we're doing these streams, is that we're interested in getting your feedback on how this is developing, so that we can make changes or make additions and stuff like that now before we hit either the first access period or before the game is actually fully released. So now is the opportunity for you to get your 2 cents in on things that you're looking for and what you like, and that's why we're doing this. So make sure that you definitely let us know what you're liking from the stream and things like that in the chat box. Also, one quick reminder: if you are a fan of the football series, Drafty Sports Pro Football, the pre-order period is quickly closing. So if you want to get in on that pre-order, I would do it tonight if I were you. Otherwise, that discount and the pre-order discount is going to be going away very, very, very shortly, and the game will be fully launched. So if you're looking for that pre-order discount on Pro Football 2021, head over to WolverineStudios.com tonight, and you can get it there. The game will be launched very soon, fully from our website as well on Steam. So if you're looking to buy in that avenue, you can always pre-order from us before the final launch, and you get that discount and you get the complimentary Steam key as well. So if you're looking for football on Steam, go ahead and pre-order that tonight from our website, and when it's released on Steam, you'll get your key there as well. So let's get into business here as we take a look at some of the new features here. So I'm going to start up a new league because that's where some of the new changes have come in. So first of all, this is we covered this way back in an earlier stream, the universe mode. That's something that's new to the game. If you haven't been around in a while, we certainly haven't talked about this in a while. The universe mode is an option that's going to let you create and control a player for each team you want to manage, while using the commissioner to advance the league and control certain functions. So this universe mode is giving you the opportunity to kind of set up a one-player multiplayer league. We had a number of people who asked for this functionality. They like to control the whole game world, or more than one team in it at least. So playing in the universe mode gives you the opportunity to control multiple different teams at once. So if you don't want to just control your one team in the challenge mode or your one team in the sandbox mode, the universe mode lets you be lets you create different players that you're playing as, different general managers. So it will let you create them and then switch back and forth very easily through that mode, rather than it was kind of possible before. You'd basically set up a multiplayer league, but then you had to keep logging out of the league and logging in as a different user, and then logging out and logging in as the commissioner to move forward and stuff like that. Universe mode puts that all together for you, so that you can play in a world. If you want to, if you want to control 5 general managers and control 5 teams, that's what Universe mode is going to let you do. So it's sort of a one-person multiplayer league. So that's what that's going to do, and we might be able to take a look at that kind of more in depth again later in the stream or another stream. But the Universe mode lets you, as I said, kind of have a multiplayer league just by yourself. So new options in the challenge mode, and this will be in the sandbox mode as well. We've changed up the screen a little bit because we're adding a different first, to make this a little bit clear on how to set things up, and then secondly, a new option. So there's going to be 2 default options now. The first default option will be kind of what you're used to from the past few years of the series. It's just sort of the 30-team league. You start right at the point where you're going to assign players to the D-League draft, and then you run through the D-League draft, and then you import the rookies for the season, or have the game-generated draft class, and you start the season. So everything kind of starts. It's meant to start as the day one start of the season option. So what I'm adding now is this off-season start option, which again is going to be it's going to be hard coded in as a 30-team option. It's going to be starting in the off season rather than starting at the beginning of the season. So you're going to start in this mode as at the head coach hiring period. So your team may already have a coach at this point. Basically, the biggest reason to do this is because we're going to start it with giving you the opportunity basically to start with the draft and free agency rather than start with the team complete. And this is going to be part of, as the game rolls out into first access, it was kind of a decision on, how long do we want to wait on the game based on what the NBA season's going to do. So this way, we can put the game out here, and you're going to have the ability to kind of play from the off season. And who knows what the NBA off season will be like this year, but here we're going to give you the chance to go through the normal off season. You'll have coach hiring, you'll have the draft, you'll have free agency, and then training camp, and then you'll start the season. So once the rosters are fully completed for both of these modes, eventually once we know what the 2021 season rosters look like, you'll have your choice of starting either on day one at the start of the normal season, or you'll have your choice of kind of redoing whatever happens in the off season, or in the case of when first access rolls around, or even prior to the launch of the game, you'll kind of be in real time, since the NBA draft isn't even scheduled till mid-November now. So you can start kind of where reality is starting, where you'll be able to control the draft yourself instead of just being stuck with whoever your team ended up taking in the draft. So that's kind of a big thing I've been working on lately to make sure that works. You'll still have the option to do an all-fictional universe. You'll have the option to do the historical replay. And, of course, you can create your own custom roster file. And that's sort of where the community mods come in, and they have the options. They have everything in those that and if you don't like the historical data they have in those mods, you can take that out. You can clear the injuries. You can reset the draft picks in that mode so that you have just a normal, everybody has all the draft picks. Some people like to have that mod that has the actual injuries in there and has all the teams' draft picks traded for the next couple of years. Some people like to play that way. Some people don't with the mod. So that custom option still exists, but now we've given you a couple different choices for just a quick default option here. And then going back to the main menu for a minute, this option here too, the database editing option, is new to the game this year. This is going to let you kind of edit a league file ahead of time, so that if you don't want to download a mod, or you want to kind of just create your own thing here, you can come through here and then make the changes here that you want to make. If you want to call them, the Hawks, you can change that to the Hawks there. I'm not going to change it because I don't want to change my actual default files, but this will change your default file on your system, and then every time you go to set up a league, your defaults will be set there, and you won't have to try to change them afterwards. So, a couple of comments in the chat box I'll get to real quick. Explaining the universe mode for Breeze. Breeze, it's good to see you again as always. Narlands34, good to see you again as well. He says existing saves can't switch to universe mode, right? That is correct. Right now there will be no way to import a save into the universe mode. It will just import into the normal game mode that it's already in. So you would have to create a new file, a new save game to play in universe mode, if that's something that you like to do. One other thing in terms of creating the leagues is, if you haven't dug into it before, or you're not aware, the game has the ability to generate league rosters from stats. So that's basically how it generates the rosters in historical replay. It generates rosters for you if you create an entirely fictional database. As long as you have all the player bios and the stats in there that you want to create a game world from, the game will generate the ratings for you based on those stats. So I've been looking at expanding some of the stats that are used to do that. So people who are creating the mods or something will have to release a new mod template for 2021, so that you can have access to some of these newer stats that are going to be considered. But looking at new stats to use in terms of helping to create players, especially on the defensive end, it's always difficult to rate players as defenders because there's not just a pure defense stat. So, I use a number of stats in the past to help this. Obviously, steals, blocks, but more advanced stats like how many field goals they defend a game, what is the percentage of scoring on them. I'm also looking at adding in things like deflections now this year, because that's tracked by the NBA and made it's a public stat that you can find easily. So anything that I can use to kind of round out the players a little bit better on the defensive end, we're going to do that. So there are some upgrades coming into how the players are generated. So I think that's going to be a huge positive for the game here going forward. Question from Seasoned Vet. Always good to see Seasoned Vet in the chats. Will these editor options be available for the college basketball game? Yes, Seasoned Vet. In the 2021 game, I will make that option available as well. We'll have the database editor there, so that you can go in and edit it once there. If you don't want to download, I know somebody always does a fantastic mod for both the college and pro games. But if you don't want to use their mod and you want to kind of do your own thing or make your own universe, you can put it in that way. You only have to edit it just the one time. So that will be an option in the college game. A lot of the improvements we've talked about in the past 12 or 13 weeks now that we've been doing these live streams, a lot of those things will be improved upon in the college game as well. There's so many things that using kind of the improvements here makes a ton of sense in the college game as well. So let's move along to something else that is brand new here coming into the league, and I'm just going to quickly go into the creation portion of this, and to the point where you add your player. And we have now added the option of having either a male or a female player for yourself, as well as having female coaches generated by at appropriate proportion to what they are in the NBA, but they will be part of the game going forward. So there are options to switch to the female coaches in the game. You'll have choices for that. You'll be able to there's a couple clothing styles in here, stuff like that. So you will be able to either play yourself as a female general manager, or that will be an option in the game as well to both have coaches generated and to edit coaches as well. I can show you how the coach editing option is going to work. When you log into a league, you can just go up here and change to the commissioner, and then there is the option to edit or add coaches, and you can select a coach if you want, and then if you opt to change the coach to to male or female, however you want it, you can select the picture and then select the clothing just the same as before, and then that's in the game. So that's I think is more and more the NBA is starting to look at more female assistant coaches, and there's been talk for a few years of Becky Hammon possibly getting a head coaching job. So I thought it was important to be able to reflect that in the game going forward, so that they that they will be there will be both male and female coaches available as free agents as well over the course of the season. Let me switch back to my player here. So if you go on the staff, I don't know how many it generated when I created this league. Let's see, there's no coaches available right now, but that's something new that I've been working on this past week. Breeze 837, isn't there going to be a mod for PB21? I'm sure there will be. I'm every year there is and I know Slybell in our community has put together I think he put together an all-in-one kind of option for college basketball, and I think he just did it for the pro football game too. So I'm sure he'll have he'll or somebody else will go around and grab the logos. They've been out there for a few years. The logos, the court sizes, all that kind of stuff hasn't changed in terms of dimensions and stuff like that. So they can all be reused. Same with player pictures. And I know GM Games just released an NFL player photo pack for Pro Football 2021. I would suspect that they would probably work on something similar for pro basketball. So there will be all kinds of mods, I'm sure. I'm sure it won't even be very long after we start First Access where there'll be mods out. So that's definitely going to be out there, Breeze. You don't have to worry about that. And then Nolan's 34, when are we getting that checkmark option to add women players in options? That's not part of the plans for 2021. Obviously there's no women players in the NBA, and trying to it's been asked before about simulating having a way to simulate the WNBA or something like that, but there hasn't been really any demand for that other than one or two people over the years mentioning it, and it would really be a separate game almost, because it's not the structures are not the same as the NBA. Things don't work the same and things like that, and obviously everything would have to be rated differently, and it would really almost be another game, sort of like the college basketball game is. So that's not in the plans right now, but there will be female coaches for assistant coaches or head coaches, and if there are anyone who wants to play as your character as female in the game, you'll be able to have that option as well. Speaking of options, let's click over to the options tab because there's some new stuff there, not only in the league in general, but in terms of this particular week. Under the viewing options, I've added that option if you want to ignore the milestone messages during the sim. You'll still get the pop-ups during the sim about how your team did, injuries, trades, things like that. But if you want to ignore the milestone pop-ups, if you don't want it checking for the milestones during the sim, you can turn that option off right there, and you will not get that. This viewing option to show dashboard by last name, that was from an earlier stream as well. If you turn that option off and go back to the dashboard, it will sort the players up here by position: point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. So if you prefer to have them sorted by position, you can turn that option on, or turn it off. I like it by the last name, so I turn that back on. Simulation style. This is something I guess I should cover really quick too, because somebody actually asked about this in one of the streams. If you could slow it down for your game, you have options here where the default is the fast simulation that just kind of rolls through. If you do a slow simulation, it will pause after every game that's simmed, and I can show you what that will look like. And then there's also the option to slow it down only for your games. So I'm just going to sim one day, and you can see that after each day, it's going to pause for a second or two and let you kind of take a good look at the screen. If you do this option, it does take obviously a lot longer to do the simulation this way, but it does give you kind of an option to see what all the top 3 players for each game are. Look at things a little bit closer. That is why I did the addition of the pop-ups and stuff like that so much in this year's version, so that when you do the fast sim option, you're getting kind of the highlights really that are popping up there, so you can see those messages in the corner. These options too, in the league options section, the injury factor, at 100% it'll be what the game considers to be normal. If you don't want injuries at all, you can always turn this down to 0 or lessen it. And if for some reason you really want a lot of injuries, you can always increase that more. The 3-point attempt factor, this was put in so that you could kind of model prior eras when there were not anywhere near the amount of 3-pointers attempted as there are today, or when 3-pointers weren't even a thing. So you can always set it down to 0, and there will be no 3-pointers. And you can also factor it down. You can't go more than 100 here because there's already a ton of 3-pointers in the NBA as it is. And you can scale this down to, if you want to play kind of if you're doing a historical replay or something, and you want things more in line with the era that they played in. The pace adjustment factor is also kind of for the historical replay type thing. So you can up the pace or slow the pace to match kind of how it was compared to how it is now. So those are good options to use if you are doing a historical replay. Also, the draft lottery gives you some different options in terms of how the modern day works. You can switch back to the former version if you like that, where the top 3 got chosen and it was really weighted heavily towards the top there. Or there's also an option for having equal chance lottery, meaning every team that missed the playoffs gets the same chance of getting the top couple of picks. So if you want to just kind of have some fun in your league and you want to switch it over to one of those options, that's always there as well. Got some things to handle in the chat box here from Breeze. If this isn't a thing, I suggest they should sort the players on dashboard by their rotation, like starting point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, 6-man. And I feel like there should be a thing where sometimes the user game will play first or before all CPU games are played, so halftime show can show around the league scores. Actually, that doesn't have to happen to do that, Breeze. On the dashboard thing, I made the one change to do it kind of give you the by position. I probably will not add further options onto that, as I don't want there to be like a million different ways to have to look at the dashboard and track how you're looking at the dashboard. So it's probably just going to stick with those two ways. In here, in terms of how it works, the game always simulates everything that needs to be simulated first, and then it goes and checks what needs to be played that you've checked and played out after that. But it would be possible to kind of have you, if you don't know, if you didn't watch the results or whatever, or maybe I don't know, an option that would hide the results or something like that, or doesn't show the sim if you want it that way, where you could hide the sim results for the day. So if I was going to play this game out on this day and push the play sim option, obviously you see the score from the other game. Maybe there's a way that we could hide that so that while you're playing this game, you could get around the league scores or a halftime report and something like that. That's something I can think about. But of course, obviously, if you choose not to play the game, the score will be here. Or if you exit out of the game for some reason, the scores will be here, and you'll see who won those games. But that's an interesting option. I'll make a note of it, and that's why I appreciate your comments in the chat, Breeze, because sometimes even you said you don't know how to word it. Even kind of talking it out by myself here, just talking, I can kind of talk into an idea or maybe figure out how something could work. So I'm just going to make a quick note about looking around the league at halftime and hiding scores. So I mean, I'm all for giving people options and how they enjoy to play the game and sim the game themselves. Of course, if you haven't been in the last couple of streams, we talked about this milestone tracker. This is a brand new game, so that there's no historical data in this one, and nobody's far enough in the season where they're closing in on any milestones. But this will track big historical milestones for the 5 major categories as we go along through the league, and especially once you get a history in your league, this will be a really fun page to come into. There is the almanac, of course, which has player records. You have records for single game, single season, and career, and there's a bunch of different categories and stuff like that. But I think the milestone tracker page is going to be really interesting, because it just gives you a look at these and what milestones players are closing in on if you're looking for that sort of information. And no, Breeze, I'm not tracking minutes as a milestone. Just these 5 are the ones that we're tracking for the milestones. So that is about going to do it for tonight. We, as always, try to keep it to that 30-minute mark. Just before we close up, again, I want to remind you that if you are interested in Draft Day Sports Pro Football 2021 and you want to pre-order, do it tonight. Your time is very, very, very rapidly running out to get that pre-order in and get that discount. So if you're looking to pre-order, do that tonight. Thank you, as always, to our followers and our subscribers, for coming out to support the chat. If you are in the chat or you're in the stream here and you're not a follower yet, hit that follow button. If you're watching this later on, hit that follow button. Make sure you have notifications enabled. And of course, if you have the ability to subscribe or have that free Twitch Prime subscription for the month because you're an Amazon Prime customer and can use that on us, we certainly appreciate that. And we got one more question. Any news for online leagues? What sort of news? Nothing's really been done on the online front. If there's something that you're looking for, I can make a note of it and see what we can do about it for the future, or see if there's anything in particular that you're looking to find out about. You can either throw the question here in the chat box real quick, or hit us up on Facebook or Twitter, or use our contact form on the website. And Breeze has one more. If a son of a former player was generated, would that track who's the father of the son, like with Bol Bol and Manute Bol? No, the game doesn't know any sort of lineage, and it doesn't generate players for, or sons for ex players and stuff like that. It just generates the names for every draft from the name file. So that will that'll do it for tonight. We're going to be back next Tuesday. Again, I said next Tuesday we will have information on the first access starting date. So you'll definitely want to be here for that. If Kin Horo wants to send in the questions for the online leagues through one of our channels, we'll try to cover some online league stuff next week as well. And we'll start going over sort of all of the additions again, as the game has largely complete with its new features. There are a ton of them that we've gone over in the past I think 3 months now that we've been doing this. So we'll probably kind of take a look at things again, as just kind of go through them and make sure you aware of all of the new things that we've been working on. And of course, we'll always take your suggestions and comments and things like that we can to use to make the game even better. That's how the game has improved so much year over year. It's been from comments and suggestions and stuff like that. So thank you everybody for coming to the chat tonight. I appreciate everybody following and subscribing to the channel, and we will see you next Tuesday night for sure. I know the Friday night streams, we've kind of been going 1 week on, 1 week off, so we'll probably be back this Friday night as well for Draft Day Sports Pro Football, but we will definitely be back next Tuesday for Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2021 Developer Dynasties. So thank you everybody for coming tonight. Have a great week.